776.420 pesos la recaudación para esta nueva edición del Superclásico del fútbol argentino. ¡Martín!
Simpsons predictions that came true. Number 15, Lady Gaga Super Bowl halftime show, season 23, episode 22. In the second episode of The Simpsons' 23rd season, the special guest star was Lady Gaga, who performed for the town while hovering in midair. Whether this inspired Gaga or not, this came uncannily true just 5 years later when she performed at the Super Bowl. She began by standing on the roof of the Houston NRG Stadium as she sang her opening song, and then, as the show continued, she flew down to the stage below with the assistance of wires, virtually in precisely the same way as she had done in Springfield. It remains one of the most acrobatic shows to ever take place at the Super Bowl, and was probably all thanks to The Simpsons. Number 14, the U.S. Curling Victory, Season 21, Episode 12. While the Olympics are open to representatives from every country in the world to take part in, there are some sports that some nations are so good at that it's a surprise if they don't take home the gold. One of these that happens at the Winter Olympics is curling, when the Swedes are almost always the favorites for the event. In the 12th episode of Season 21 from 2010, Homer and Marge travel to the Vancouver Olympics, where they compete against Sweden in curling. Despite falling behind, they manage to cause an upset and win in the end. In 2018, life imitated art, and the U.S. men's team won in exactly the same way, only the second time ever that they had medaled in the event. Number 13, Disney's purchase of Fox, Season 10, Episode 5. Disney has become one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world and often buy out their competitors. When, in an episode from 1998, Homer goes to pitch a film idea to executives at Fox, it said beneath the company logo that it was a division of Disney. Most people thought it to be just a joke and that something like this would never happen. They were, of course, wrong. And in another example of The Simpsons predicting the future, Disney purchased the conglomerate in 2017 for a price of over $52 billion, bringing franchises like X-Men, Avatar, and The Simpsons under the control of the House of Mouse. Number 12, President Trump, Season 11, Episode 17. In the episode titled Bart to the Future, which was first aired in 2000, we see what the future of The Simpsons was like, with Lisa as the president in the White House and Bart as a failed musician. The idea behind the episode was that the vision was warning to Bart that he needed to change his ways to prevent wasting his life, but were the Simpsons writers instead warning us, the viewers, of something else? In a meeting, Lisa mentions that the country had been left in quite a financial mess thanks to President Trump. Again, something that most people wrote off as being a joke, but one that became all too real in November of 2016 when Donald Trump won the presidential election. Number 11, Censoring Art, Season 2, Episode 9. One of the earliest Simpsons predictions to come true was broadcast in 1990. The 9th episode of the second season showed how residents of Springfield protested the displaying of Michelangelo's David because of the nudity and insisted that it was covered up. Fast forward more than 25 years, and that's exactly what happened in St. Petersburg in Russia. A 16-foot-tall plastic replica of the world-famous statue was put up on show in the center of the city, but following complaints by parents and residents, and a poll was conducted to decide which clothes, if any, should be put on the statue to make it more appropriate. Number 10, Horse Meat Scandal, Season 5, Episode 19. The quality of school dinners is always questionable, and in a 1994 episode of The Simpsons from Season 5, lunch lady Doris is dealing with a reduced budget and resorts to adding assorted horse parts to the meals in place of the meat she'd normally use. It turned out that this isn't as unusual as you may want to think. In 2013, a scandal took hold across Europe as it was discovered that horse meat was being used in products that had claimed they contained beef. At least 4.5 million pre-prepared dishes such as lasagna, chili, and burgers were sold throughout 13 countries and contained, in some cases, only horse meat. They were sold in supermarkets, given to patients in hospitals and to children in schools, and was one of the biggest food hygiene scandals of recent times. Now, much more stringent checks are in place to prevent it from happening again, but they probably should have just watched The Simpsons instead. Number 9, the Higgs boson particle, Season 8, Episode 1. The proof that the existence of the Higgs boson particle required the construction of the largest machine mankind has ever built, and was hailed as one of the greatest scientific discoveries of the last decade. But was all this effort actually needless, and all research is needed was to watch an episode of The Simpsons?